Voilà, c'est les Anglais. Comme ça vaut. Un dernier album en anglais, eh bien, c'est lui-même qui était constitué chanson du genou. Et jeudi, donc it's time to talk to Mr. Daniel Keel. How are you today, my friend?
Severe, I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm good. Do you hear me well?
Yes, I can hear you.
Faut que nous attendez, Mr. Yeah, are you okay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, I can hear you now.
No, I'm good. So how was your weekend? I mean, your week anyway.
It was great. It went by really fast. I feel like I was here like the other day.
Yeah.
And it was last Friday.
Days go fast.
Going fast. You know what the problem is? The older I get, time goes faster.
Yes.
And I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
Did you see your candidate last night on?
Yes,
on
I saw her
on CNN.
I thought she did great.
She did great.
I thought she did great. She was calm, cool, collected. She made all her points.
Not lying.
Not lying.
Okay.
You know, I was trying to go on Google the other day because I remember when Trump was running for the first time in 2016, one of the newspapers did research as to how many lies he had told.
More than 30,000.
At that time it was 20,000, so that's 2016. So by now,
New York Times I said more than 30,000.
I think it's probably closer to 70 or 80,000 because every time he gives a speech, he has at least 20 lies.
And you know what? I heard the Republicans, they think, Trump is it's waiting for interviews more than Kamala Harris. You know what is the problem? Trump has, no problem to answer any question because if he doesn't get the right answer, he doesn't have any problem to lie anyway.
That's correct.
Yes.
That's correct. And doing these 1.5 and 2 hour speeches, which he thinks helps him, I think hurts him because he goes way off the script and he starts talking about making stupid remarks, calling people names. The fact that Waltz said the word that he and his vice president candidate were weird. I was listening on the way over here, and there was a psychologist and a media advisor saying that every time Trump says the word weird, he's reinforcing the attitude that people have against him. And so he's his own worst enemy, and I just hope he keeps it up because I see all the polls going slowly but surely. I show them in the 6 states that Kamala has to win. Kamala, I have to make sure I pronounce it correctly, that she's now even or even a little ahead of Trump. So I just hope that she doesn't get overconfident like Hillary Clinton did.
Yes.
And she keeps pouring it on. But I see a lot of excitement. I see excitement among a lot of young people, a lot of people of my age who are baby boomers, that she is the light at the end of the tunnel, and that they recognize that Trump represents chaos.
Yeah, even some Latino groups, some black voters group, they already turned their back on Donald Trump.
Yeah, there was. I think a lot of times the media makes these things up because the media was talking about black men for Trump. I think that's made up. I don't think that there are any or very, very few black men for Trump when Trump has been racist since he was a boy. He learned racism from his father, who had apartment houses in New York that were restricted, that did not allow black people to rent. In fact, to the point where he was fined multiple times by the government for refusing to rent to black people. And he's carried that on all his life, and including today. And so I really find it hard to believe that any black person would support somebody who's openly racist against them.
Okay, so how was the week? How many clients did call you? I have a friend of mine who called me the other day and asked me for your number. I don't know if you have any other people that call the office.
Yes, I have. We opened, I believe we opened probably 6 new cases this week. 4 of them were foreclosures, because I'm telling you, the foreclosures are adding up.
You told me that from the beginning.
I told you that from the beginning, and a lot of it has to do with their insurance, because you have a blended payment. Your mortgage payment includes 1/12 of your insurance costs for the year, and everybody's insurance is going up. Some of the people's insurance is going up as much as 60%. And there are a lot of people that are living on the margins and cannot afford that new payment. So if you're now struggling to make your mortgage payment, please call my office now, 305-821-5500, and let us help you devise a plan. You have to have a plan. If you're in trouble and you're losing your job, or you lost hours, or you find yourself in a position where you cannot pay your mortgage, call us now and we'll come up with a plan to help you and try to prevent the foreclosure. If you're already in foreclosure, we can provide the defense, and we can defend you while we're coming up with a solution to the problem so that you don't lose your house.
Avocat dit nous que yo compliqué ça jour-ci et que compagnie assurance, compagnie mortgage, yo, banque yo pas jouer avec nous. Eh bien, lui-même, il y a une solution à problème pour nous, surtout là nous non foreclosure. Eh bien, et depuis nous, où nous arrivons dans un mois, 2 mois, nous pas qu'à payer, il y a privé sur nous quand même, préserrer les bureaux dans 305 821 5500, 305 821 5500. I read in the newspaper where all the mortgage companies, they associate with a bank, and then they are hiring some lawyers. They're there waiting for, if I have a house, waiting for me. If I have 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, I cannot pay, and they already, stand up on their toes. They are waiting for, to file foreclosure against me. Is that true?
And that has been true for years now. The banks employ law firms to do foreclosures. We call them mills. We call them mills because they turn out the foreclosures like toilet paper. I mean, they print those up. As soon as the bank contacts the law firm and says, these people are behind, we've already sent them their 30-day letter, that law firm, the next day, they file the foreclosure because they get a certain amount. They get a retainer from the bank for every foreclosure they file, and they charge the bank by the hour. So the more foreclosures they can open, the more pleadings they file, the more these law firms survive and actually make a lot of money. So it's a bad situation for anybody who owes their bank money, because a lot of times you're negotiating with the bank and the bank has already turned your file over to the law firm, and they're filing the complaint, and they're going to be tapping on your door and serving you with that complaint while you're talking to the bank. And it happens almost every week. We get those type of cases. We also have gotten 2 cases this week where they were on a reverse mortgage. For people who don't understand how that works, if you're 62 or older, you can apply for a reverse mortgage, which means
what reverse mortgage is all about.
Let's say you owe $100,000 on your house, and your house is worth $300,000. Well, you go and apply for the reverse mortgage. They pay off that $100,000, and then they open an account for you for, let's say, $150,000. And so, and oftentimes you already owe that $150,000. If you use any of that money besides the money they use to pay it off, that increases your mortgage. So the idea is that you don't have if you're an older person, you don't want a mortgage payment. So you do a reverse mortgage. You don't make any payment every month.
Who pays for it?
What happens is the interest builds up every day. All you have to do is pay your taxes and insurance once a year. As long as you can pay your taxes and insurance, you don't have to make a mortgage payment. But that mortgage is out there, and it's gathering interest every day. So when the second one of you pass away, first the father dies, then the mother dies. When she dies, that reverse mortgage comes due. It accelerates. So all the survivors, the kids, the grandkids, whatever, they have to make a deal with the bank to pay that balance. And it's a lot going to be, if it's 10 years, it's going to be a lot more than $150,000. It could be $200,000 or $250,000. But meanwhile, in most cases, the house, there is equity in the house. So they have to get on it right away because the bank will file a foreclosure and they'll say, look, the two people who borrowed this money, they're both deceased now. And in the mortgage, it says when they die, it becomes due. So the family, somebody in the family has to pay that amount. Otherwise, they lose the house. Wow. And so we got two of those files this week. And
so what did
we
you
expected, well, the families came in and they said, what do we do? I said, well, we need to right away file a defense to the foreclosure, which is going to give us time in order to be able to figure out how we're going to do this. But the members of the family in this family, they had good credit. So let's go out and let's get them new mortgage and pay them off. Okay, and then the family will own the house. You won't lose the house. That's the only way to stop the foreclosure. You have to pay off that reverse mortgage. It's very rare that they'll ever allow people that are survivors to assume that mortgage. Right. They want to get paid off, and you're going to have to pay all that interest for all those years. There's no free lunch, and there's no such thing as a free mortgage.
So will you be able to to save them? Or?
Yeah, we will. Especially because they have credit good enough that they can, their credit's high enough that they can go and borrow. It's probably $250,000, but they can go together with the family, putting all their credit together. They'll be able to get a new mortgage and pay off that $250,000. And the house is probably worth $400,000. So there's a ton of equity. They cannot afford to lose that family home. Wow. So we've been very successful in all of the cases that we've received with reverse mortgages. So if you have that situation and there's a reverse mortgage in your family and the last of the borrowers has passed away, call my office right away because they're going to file a foreclosure against the beneficiaries, survivors, anybody. And a lot of those times they can't find you. They'll serve by publication, which means they publish in a newspaper that nobody reads, not even lawyers read that newspaper.
Wow.
So they can go and publish, get a default, get a sale date, and sell that house from under the family if they're not watching, if they're not figuring out what's going on. And a lot of times the family members are living in the house. Well, they're just waiting. They're just waiting there. They're not paying the taxes. They're not paying the insurance. Here comes the knock on the door. So they need to call us right away so they don't lose the house.
Nous connaissons numéro déjà. Donc avocat dit non paquet de bagaille là pour moun qui gagne ça le reverse mortgage. Parents, maman, papa capable mourir mais pour héritier Kayla là faut lever bonheur, faut aller Daniel Kill dans 305 821 5500 305 821 5500. What do you have to say as the last words for
we also opened did 2 wills this week.
Wow.
And with Lady Bird Deeds, and very, very important to have that will. As I tell everyone, if you die without a will, your closest relatives, whether you're speaking to them or not, they're going to inherit your house. They're going to inherit your bank account. They're going to inherit your car. So you need to have a will. You need to know who, if you pass away, who do you want to get your house? Who do you want to get your car? Who do you want to get your bank account? So it's very important that you do that. As far as our politics and our election that's coming up, I'm going to emphasize again, and I know Severe does too, October 7th, that's the last day to register to vote, and the election's November 5th. So we want to get everybody registered who's not registered by October 7th. We want everybody to be prepared to do early voting. I'm emphasizing early voting because I'm afraid the Republicans are going to disturb the polls. I believe they're going, especially in Florida, in Miami, in Fort Lauderdale, I believe that they have some type of obstacles to you voting. Maybe they'll make you stand in line for 3 or 4 hours. So I think it's much better if everyone is organized to go and do early voting so that we know that your vote will count.
Thank you very much, my friend. I hope to see you next Friday. Have a great weekend. Enjoy yourself.
And you too, Severe. Thank you, everybody, for allowing me to speak to you today.
Nous t'avons parlé avec avocat Daniel Kiel.
Jackson North Medical Center complètement rénové et puis service en dedans li élargi. Chambre patient yo pi bel kounia, salle urgence là 2 fois pi gros. Et puis toute salle opération yo complètement modernisé. Yo même ajouté